Hey guys! This week I wanted to talk to you about, real pragmatically, about how to use your body as your guide when you're healing and also just in your everyday life, right? Like how you're using this as your wellness barometer. If you're like me and you have suffered from anxiety and depression from a really early age, then you probably know what it feels like to have one, a lot of unsolicited advice given to you, but also having tried a lot of different like modalities and techniques and being disillusioned when they just don't work. So for me, one of those things was meditation. In fact, I used to be a really avid meditator, and for 2 full years, I was dedicated. I meditated every single day, and I was using it to regulate my anxiety. And I heard that meditation was fantastic for anxiety. And so I was getting all of these incredible benefits from meditating. I was getting like really good concentration. I was getting very good at kind of like those ADHD symptoms. I felt like kind of narrowed and came in a little bit for me. I was able to focus more and get more done and be more present in my day and mindful, which felt fantastic. But at some point within the meditation, I actually started getting nervous or anxious during meditation, and it would spike and it would get worse after the meditation. So I had to like throw it out the window. I was just like, okay, this isn't working anymore. The whole point of it was that it was supposed to help me with my anxiety. Now my anxiety is getting worse, or it's like just as spiked and just as bad. So I had to like throw that, I had to throw that tool away or whatever, at least the way that I was using it. And then fast forward, I recently found some research that showed they're going back and re-looking at all those meditation research, studies, and finding that we were a little too kind and a little too benevolent to meditation. In fact, about 1 in 12 people, when using mindfulness meditation, get increased symptoms in depression and anxiety. But here's the thing, if you're navigating really your wellness totally based on frameworks and modalities and research, then you're missing that point of connection with your body and really honing into what it is that your body is saying works for it and doesn't work for it. So I love frameworks and modalities and just learning different theories because they're a great starting point. But then after that, for me, it's all about like, okay, what actually works and what do I want to keep in terms of it works consistently versus what do I want to throw out because maybe it works, but it works inconsistently, or it doesn't work in the way that I'm wanting it to, or it's actually making symptoms worse, which isn't always a bad thing. I think that sometimes when we try things and it triggers us, that's another point of self-knowledge, and we can kind of put that in the bucket of like, okay, this is triggering and maybe I have time to manage that right now or deal with that or look at it. Maybe I don't, but I also don't want to put in my toolkit that's going to help me with my depression, my anxiety, my nervous system regulation, something that may be triggering for me. I want to put things that consistently work for me, that consistently bring me down and bring me to a place where I'm feeling calmer in my body. And so using our bodies as a guide is actually pretty easy because our nervous system does very predictable things when we're triggered, when we're shut down, and when we're actually regulated. So some things to start to look for when you're spiked, like when your nervous system goes into fight, flight, whatever level or degree that is, right? Because there's different degrees. Sometimes you're all the way up here, you're at a 10, you're freaking out. Sometimes you're just kind of at a 5. Some of the symptoms are happening, but not as intensely or as extreme. But some of those things that you can start to look for in your body are feeling tension, right? You start to feel tension, your breathing gets a little bit more shallow, your breathing gets a little bit faster, right? That hyperventilation, right? Getting you ready to do some running, some fighting. So you'll notice your breaths are not as shallow. Your fists might start to inherently ball up. You might notice that there's kind of some bathroom regulation stuff going on. You can feel some of that kick up. And then inversely, you'll know that whatever tool that you're going to use for regulating is working if then those symptoms start to soften, lighten, or clear. So for me, some of the biggest markers are I get brain fog, right? So the inflammation of going into fight or flight starts to immediately mess with my thoughts, my coherence, and just feeling what sharp and clear, right? That goes right out the window. Start forgetting words. That starts to end up being a problem. And then also, I hold my tension in my jaw and my neck and my shoulders. And so right away, I'll start to feel that almost like the whole weight of my body is in my jaw. And so when I'm doing, a regulating tool or I'm doing a regulating activity, I'll notice if it's working, there's a softening that happens. The weight of my body starts to drop and go back into my hips or my legs or my lower body. That my breathing gets a little lower in the body as well, not high up here. The heartbeat starts to slow down and I start to feel cooler. So, which helps, and also in my thinking, like it starts to get more clear and vibrant, less heat. And those are really markers for me. So, as you're trying different tips, tricks, tools, activities, whatever it is, I want you to start to just notice some of these things and notice which things are consistently working for you so that you can rely on those in your time of need, right? When you're needing that. And I would love to hear what's working for you, maybe what's not working for you, or any additional questions that you have on this subject. All right, till next time. Mwah.